Thank you for taking the time to have this conversation. Last Friday, we finished a 4-week institute supported by the National Endowment for the Humanities on bioengineering, ethics, research, and the humanities, which was also organized here by the College of Biology and Society and the Lincoln Center for Applied Ethics. You and Dr. Jason Robert were co-directors of the Institute. Would you give us a sense of why and how you began planning for the Institute, why you chose that topic, and why you approached the NEH?
Yes, so the Institute is called Our Shared Future, with shared being an acronym for science, humanities, arts, research, ethics, and deliberation. It is co-funded by the National Endowment for Humanities, and then we got some funding from both of our home institutions, the Center for Biology and Society and the Lincoln Center for Applied Ethics, along with other folks across the university, including the President's Office, deans of humanities, deans of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and then also some centers, so Lincoln Center, Center for Biology and Society, and the School of Life Sciences. So they all believed in this vision, which is a very ASU thing, but doesn't have to be limited to ASU, in which you're trying to create a more interdisciplinary and enriched understanding of how humanities and the rest of the world is integrated. So you have such disciplinary silos generally in how we're addressing what happens day to day in the university. But outside of that, students are coming from an interdisciplinary context. That's what they're doing day to day. That's what they're going to inherit when they go into the workforce. It's not just one discipline that they're making use of, it's all of them together at once. And so we thought that the best way to reach the most students, and our proposal to the NEH would be to figure out a way to make humanities faculty in higher education contexts conversant around some of the emerging technologies in biotech. And so that took the shape of CRISPR-Cas9, the organ shortage discussion, gene engineering in other contexts. We talked about neuroengineering and some of the different ways that technologies are being leveraged there to increase health outcomes, and including, what was the first week that we did? A bunch of stuff. But Jason and I both believe very deeply that the humanities are integral and underlie everything related to these other disciplines. And it is unfortunate that we have the disciplinary silos that we do, because if you were to create a more enriched version in which you have humanists and scientists conversant with one another in research contexts, but also in these undergraduate education contexts, you're really increasing the education that folks get, in addition to increasing the type of person that they are becoming. Whether that's a scientist, whether that is someone who goes on in the business department or some other career track. Showing them that you have this ability to think about the social and cultural context of the things that you're developing in concert with the good science that you are learning to do as a student is really important to us. And the humanities are the gateway to that across general education. In a lot of colleges, the humanities are the folks who get most of the general education students coming through their door. And so that's across the university, across disciplines. They have to take these humanities courses as part of the general education credits for colleges and universities. So if we can find a way to make the folks who are teaching those courses more conversant around emerging issues in biotechnology, it not only is more appealing and you get more engagement from the STEM students that come through your doors, but we believe that it also makes you a better humanist because you are able to speak intelligently not only on the social and cultural constructs, but like the actual science behind that. So if you have an understanding of the technical, you can then see what some of the social and cultural kind of issues are at hand.
Thank you, Erica. You talked about general education. One of the professors that we had at the Institute is Dr. Jim Collins,
Yes.
an evolutionary ecologist, I think. He discussed the need to rethink scientific literacy. And you are here also talking about the general education program. Has there been any initiative here at ASU, and or could you comment on how you think we can go about rethinking scientific literacy in the context of the biotechnology revolution?
Yes, so scientific literacy is a lot more than being able to understand the scientific method, which is what a lot of intro science courses kind of equate to that literacy. If you could figure out a way to leverage the type of thinking that lets you be evidence-based and sort of causal, then that's an understanding of scientific literacy. But it goes far beyond that. So if you are not also taking into account the way that the science you do or that you would like to do is embedded in the broader infrastructure, social, cultural, political, and economic sort of factors surrounding it, then I would argue that you don't have scientific literacy because you are really narrowly constructing the dynamic between what it is that you're doing in a lab and the end product, or whether it's theoretical or applied, the end product of that engagement. And scientists, I don't want to be the ethics police because scientists are by and large inherently trying their best to be as ethical as they can, to make good decisions, to be good humans. But if we can early on try to intervene in that process through having humanities faculty that are more conversant in the sort of issues that are of interest to STEM folks, or that will just impact folks' lives going forward, I think that that's really important. So one of the big things that I'm working on right now as one of those initiatives is the Human Impacts of AI, which is a humanities course, which helps folks to do an audit on their own lives, these students, to figure out how AI is impacting their lives currently, and then projecting forward into how it will impact the future based off of how it's already pervasive in a lot of the tech that they're using. And that is a great example, I think, of one way that you can bring an emerging technology into conversation with people. You don't have to be, although it's great to be the most conversant and well sort of immersed person in what's happening in emerging technologies, you can really go far just by knowing something about that technology and then being critical with your students about how it's being leveraged in their own lives. Because in fields that are rapidly changing, it's very hard to stay abreast of everything that is happening in that field, and you feel like you're constantly adapting your curriculum to something new. But if you center it around the students' lived experiences, they're already experts in their life. They're experts in what they're using these technologies for, and they're experts in how they're going to be using these technologies in the future. And if you can get them to think about the structure in which that technology is embedded, in terms of how it's being designed, who's designing it, for what reasons, and then how it's being rolled out and sort of leveraged in different social spheres, I think that that's really powerful. And so that's one way that I'm trying to go about doing that. I can't speak for the university at large, but I can speak for myself.
Thank you, Erica. A couple of times these things came up during the last 4 weeks. Every single participant expressed both surprise and appreciation at the innovative organizational structures in play at ASU. And you are a part of that. All of us are going back to our home institutions where many of these things do not exist and will probably not exist. Would you give us a sense of what kind of culture ASU has that enables this kind of innovation to take place, and how faculty, mid-career, early career faculty, senior faculty, how can they move towards building that kind of culture? And also, since you're also part of the organization, what kind of organizational strategies, at least to you, seem to have paid off?
Yes, so I am in a university which prides itself in being the #1 in innovation, and one of the metrics that's used to measure that level of innovation is the interdisciplinarity, not only at the level of different administrative departments, but the classes that are being offered, the research that's being conducted, and the benefits of that research for the community in which we are embedded. And I feel like that interdisciplinarity is not exclusive to ASU. It is something that can be cultivated across many different contexts. It's just finding the right partners for it. So it can be difficult in a place where you are not 3 or 4 or 5 different departments that have been mushed together into one thing. So if it's the School for Historical, Religious, and Philosophic Thinking, or the Center for Biology and Society, which is behind me, which is in the School of Life Sciences, and talks about biology and social construct and context. Like it's difficult, but it's not impossible to find other people that also believe that a more well-rounded and inclusive education and research agenda benefits not only you as a researcher, but your students and the university. Because the world is inherently interdisciplinary, and we come to a university structure and we silo it off into these different departments. But if you can find someone who is willing to be a co-teacher, that's one really easy way into it. I'm part of the National Humanities Center Responsible Artificial Intelligence Curriculum Design Project. It's 15 different universities across the country with varying degrees of how interdisciplinary their sort of college and university structure is. But a lot of these folks, the way that they've overcome that is that they've found co-instructors who can help to elucidate some of those technical concepts, while they as humanists can help to contextualize those across literature, across film studies, across philosophy, across all sorts of different sort of humanistic perspectives that really enrich those technical dimensions. So that would be my recommendation for anyone that is looking to do this sort of work on a budget or in a structure which does not have that undergirding the way that it operates and sort of organizes itself, is to just find your people. Find other folks who believe in that. They can be co-instructors, they can be a researcher that you're applying to something for. The collaborative research grant through the NEH is a wonderful opportunity for those across different disciplinary sort of areas to come together on a shared research endeavor. And yeah, these opportunities exist out there. You just have to be the one who is going to be an advocate for that sort of inclusion in the way of going about doing it in your university.
Thank you, Erica. You've given us many things to think about. The last 4 weeks must have been exceptionally busy for you. What do you plan to do over the summer? Do you have any research projects or anything else?
Yeah, I'm going back to my full-time job because I'm a staff member here at Arizona State University that also teaches and does research, which is a nice sort of way of envisioning what staff are capable of and sort of the responsibilities that they can take on in this area. So I'm in the Lincoln Center for Applied Ethics. I am helping to finalize the syllabus for the Human Impacts of AI course that I'll be teaching in the fall. With Gaiman Bennett, who is the director of the Lincoln Center for Applied Ethics. I also have a collaboration between ASU students and the Chautauqua Institution, where they are co-creating some of the summer programming at that institution, because they have 9 weeks of programming a year, and one of their weeks next summer will be on responsible artificial intelligence. And so we're having the students sit in on discussions and then kind of co-teach things in the following summer, which will be a really nice co-ownership of something and allow the largely older demographic of the Chautauqua Institute to benefit from speaking with those who are inheriting the world that will be shaped by these emerging technologies. And then there's just a whole bunch of other things. Those are 2 of the most exciting ones. But I am taking a short break. I've got a trip to California planned for a week to see family and friends. So it's
Wonderful.
not all work, no play.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Erica. You and Dr. Jason Rivera did a wonderful job directing the Institute. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much for doing this, John. You
And
also are amazing, and your institution needs to know that you're amazing.
Oh,
the work that you are
thank
conducting
you.
and doing on top of this institute is fantastic.
Thank you,
for doing
Erica.
this.
Thank you. And have a wonderful summer.
Same to you.
Thanks.